By the way, I think those people should be able to protest as long as they do a peaceful, whatever. I don't
give a shit.
Who the fuck's saying they should? I don't know anybody who's saying they can't do that. At the same time, how about, I can, if I want to, take my kid to go inside fucking Denny's and have breakfast.
Yeah. The wrong time.
That's true. And I also say, fucking coronavirus is over. Sorry.
Oh, the lockdowns are done.
I said to Steve, what I'm really curious about, and obviously all that's, it's very sad and everything, but what I'm more focused on is what the numbers are going to be like next week.
Well, here's the problem. Not the problem, but what if they're not?
What if they're flat?
They don't even go up.
Yeah.
I don't think they will.
Then we're done.
Yeah, I think we're good.
We had 70 people die today in Massachusetts. I'm sure 66 of them were over the age of 80 or something.
Yeah.
I go outside now, like Harry and I go and play baseball at the field now. Like we wouldn't have done that 2 weeks ago. And we do it by ourselves and everyone stays. But I mean, like you can do these things.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can now do these things. And I think most people now are just like, fuck it, we're done.
I'd love to see the overlap between the people who were lecturing everybody else on proper mask etiquette and restaurants need to close down and are now out here doing these protests. Of
course.
And they're going to put on this little surgeon's mask like it's going to protect them from a mob of people getting together and shouting. Like,
yeah, you got Marty Walsh, telling people yesterday not to barbecue or whatever that was. Yeah. Like, I know it's a nice day out, don't barbecue, but today. Yeah, you know what? Like, if you feel like protesting, swing on by. We'll give you a mask.
Well, coronavirus understands that there's a horrible tragedy in Minnesota, so you're not going to be infected.
Right, you either take it seriously or you don't. That's okay. If you don't take it seriously, don't take it seriously. But if Walsh and Baker cannot, they will because they're so tone deaf. They're going to go up and have press conferences and tell us the shit again about bikes and lanes and 6 feet and all this bullshit.
And now it's still phase 2 is a maybe here for restaurants. Right. They're playing that same fucking game where they're like, well, we'll see. We might be able to announce in a week or two that phase 2 for restaurants can begin.
And I've seen a lot of people, and I saw MHB do this.
Yes.
Which is basically, not MHB, I beg your pardon, Jesus, KFC. Same person, basically. Where they're like, people who are whining about not being able to fucking go to a salon are now mad at people for protesting a guy getting murdered. It's just stupid. First of all, give me a list of people who are so angry, like me, that the bookstore is closed, that I went and fucking burned something down.
Right.
It's dumb.
Yeah,
First
all of the anti-lockdown things were entirely peaceful.
Right. And, and by the way, of course, one is not as serious as the other. And I think if you asked 100 people would say that. It's a total straw man argument.
Yeah, I got that. Well, I tweeted a video of a bunch of people protesting in Boston. I said, well, why can't restaurants open up this week? And people were like, really? You need to eat food that bad? Which, of course, I do.
Well,
but
no, it's not the point, though.
But like, why can I go around 1,000 people outdoors, but not 40 people in the restaurant?
Because the rules are arbitrary and capricious and meant only to pacify lips.
Yeah, and by the way, I think those people should be able to protest as long as they do a peaceful, whatever. I don't
give a shit.
Who the fuck's saying they should? I don't know anybody who's saying they can't do that. I don't know a single person who's saying they can't do that. So, my point is, that's great. They should do that if you want. I hope this fucking, I hope it leads to something, though I don't think it will. I hope it does. Maybe I'm wrong. At the same time, how about, I can, if I want to, take my kid to go inside fucking Denny's and have breakfast.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here? Like, it's clearly over.
Well, there needs to be some rule.
It won't be, because buckle up for the media to scare us into, they're going to miss this. And in a week, like if things start opening up, we'll start seeing reports of man who entered an IHOP now has coronavirus.
The big report was one person from the Ozark tested positive for coronavirus. They're making it like it's a big deal. To me, that's like, good. That's awesome news. Shows that it doesn't even fucking matter.
Yeah.
How many people from the State House lockdowns 3 or 4 weeks ago, the lockdown protest? How many of those tested positive?
This is not as I read the point. That was not the time to protest.
No.
Not during coronavirus. Now, of course. They did it stupid and horribly, and it was dumb, and this is a very serious thing. But we haven't seen one, and if there had been one, these fucking media, this is what they care about.
They would have followed that up.
The media literally doesn't, there are things they just simply, and even in Boston, local media, don't want to report. That video that we put out, and we'll have more of it this week, I'm sure, they know about it, and they don't want to report it, because if they do, some people will suggest that they're unkind or not sensitive. And to that, I would say, well, that's your job. Your job is not to fucking placate the sensitivity levels of fucking people on social media.
It might even be worse than what you're saying. It might be more that they don't want to deal with it. Like, people aren't going to want to clean it up and do something about it.
Well, that's true, too. But, I mean, that video...
Where's the fucking Boston Herald?
They suck.
Send
They
a
suck.
photog down there, take one picture of that scene, maybe walk in there if you're brave and take a few more pictures and do a splash, and you will sell fucking newspapers.
Or even the Globe. That shouldn't be a political issue. You know what I
Globe,
mean? Like,
well, we know the Globe's not going to do it.
but why,
the Globe,
why not?
Well, because
No?
the Globe is now in full finger wagging mode over the last couple of days. Now this is their chance to say that everyone who's ever lived is a racist.
Yes.
Everyone who ever, it's like, again, I don't want to dump on these women, the Fran and Rhea. I'm sure they're nice people, but they tweet out. Who tweeted this out?
I think this
Rhea
was
probably, or Ally
Fran.
maybe?
No, Fran tweeted out the links to the reading
The New York
list.
Times.
Oh, I didn't see that
One of her tweets was, just in case you need it, she tweeted out the New York Times anti-racist reading list for you. I mean, you work at Barstool Sports. Isn't it the one like they live Justin Bieber or something?
Yeah.
Like the just in case the Barstool people wanted to read West Indian Immigrants, a black success story. Their eyes were watching God.
So I guess my problem with this is
As if they haven't all read it already.
Yeah, how many of those books
Langston
has she
Hughes,
read?
Toni Morrison. Maybe all of them. I don't know. Maybe all of them. I doubt it, but maybe all. Like, it's just, I don't know. To me, that feels like, I don't know. I don't know where that's coming from. And then she tweets out anti-racism resources. Resources for white parents to raise anti-racist children. I should have done this at the beginning. All due respect to this person, until you have kids, fuck off. I mean, you know what? You know who aren't anti-racist? You know who aren't racist, I should say, are my kids, Kate and Harry, because they're good kids.
Right.
They're raised by parents who aren't racist and would never suggest it. You know what? I didn't read them PBS's Teaching Your Child About Black History Month because I have kids, and I just say, like people who have kids do, that's wrong. Treat everyone the same. Be nice to people. This is how life works. And by the way, in 2020, most of these kids, especially, listen, Harry and his friends, first of all, a lot of his friends aren't white. I mean, we live in a town that has some ethnicity in it, which is great. I don't care. I'd say his 3 best friends probably aren't white. 1, 2, yeah. So, I mean, he doesn't care. They don't even look at it. They don't care. Right. So, you have Rhea telling me to tell my kids tips for effective white caucus groups is an article to read. This is tweeted out by one of the chicks in the office?
Yeah.
Well, the H-Dog might like that, Harry. He's pretty woke.
I think there's another H-Dog that might be involved in this whole thing. Is my guess. He's not too busy, booking Rob Gronkowski.
Oh, why?
What?
Why involve him?
I'm just saying. I don't know.
Nice man.
I'm sure he is. Books to read. Oh, can you tell me what books to read, Rhea? I'm 45 years old. I read more books last year than you've read in your life.
I should point out, though, the people that you're talking about are employees of this alt-right, racist, toxic male.
True.
How funny is that? When you see
And it's like they think that if they tweet the right things in this moment, that they won't get that kind of.
No, they don't think that.
Shit.
They think that they're actually changing lives by this. Like their heart's in the right place, but it's just embarrassing. Films and TV series to watch. Oh, what can I watch to not be racist? What the fuck? Organizations to follow. Oh, thanks.
It's funny that she tweeted that because I was scrolling through Twitter right before the show and pointed out to Steve that Variety tweeted out like 11 anti-racist Twitter accounts to follow, and I was like, what a joke this is. Why? I didn't realize someone from here was.
I gotta say, and I don't mean this, but if you're racist, my guess is this is not going to change things for you.
You don't think there are a lot of on the cusp racists?
I don't think it's going to
pitch
cure
me on
it.
this.
And I think the people who are hardcore racists are probably not spending a lot of time on Twitter looking up what the chicks in the office are telling you to read to not be a racist.
You might be mulling things over.
Honestly, it's insulting.
Somewhere out there's a cop who is following Fran on Twitter and is reading some of the New York Times anti-racist reading list.
Tell me more about what those people do.
She's saving lives.
Yeah, it's to me like you're telling me that like as white people we can't weigh in at all on this, but yet you can tweet out this stuff? Like that's way more fucking insulting. Jesus Christ.